everybody. I am Will,
And I'm Kristen.
and this is So I'm Watching The Midnight Club, Season 1, Episode 8.
9.
9.
The Eternal Enemy. Was the name of his story. That's what he said it was. Also, death and time.
Just to cut to the chase, my girl Sandra is the one who it appears she was misdiagnosed from the start.
Yeah, so it's like she has some sort of gastrointestinal thing, but it's not the lymphoma that they thought it was. So she's not terminal, but she's still sick.
This show is exhausting.
Yeah.
It's emotionally exhausting.
Yeah.
Because, and the ups and downs, because you go from being so happy for her to then, and I can't remember if it was in the scene with Dr. Stanton or later.
No, it was with the kids, yeah.
Where she was like, I mean, yay, but also I have to start all over again.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
And just, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And again, I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan. Remind me if I forget. We got the hand thing in this episode.
Oh, did we get a hand thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I still don't think this is ever going to be my favorite, but boy howdy, it's been good. And I really think it's earned most, if not all of its stakes.
None of it to me feels out of pocket. It's like it's earning the stakes it's laying down, and so I'm totally satisfied with how things are playing out.
And I'm caring about them the way I'm supposed to at the times I'm supposed to, and it's just really because that's frequently our case when shows, especially genre like fantasy horror or whatever, is we're like, I mean, it's nice, I'm almost there, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I do care, And Alanka and Kevin had their little powwow because she found him in the basement. She brought him up to Anya's bed. And apparently he's been seeing the man in the mirror, and she's been seeing the hungry woman.
And they both sometimes see the other.
And they decide to tell the Midnight Club, and the Midnight Club leaves them hanging.
Bitch, y'all crazy!
Dangling off of that really cliff over the ocean.
Nope, yeah.
That's when, and Alanka admitted that she
falls off the cliff.
She thinks she's the one, and that's when Sandra comes clean about that, and also that, I think we mentioned this, but Spencer thought he heard, was it Tristan?
I think he just thought he heard a girl's voice.
But I think it was after Tristan.
Sure, yeah. Because she was like, I heard you talking about losing faith.
And she said the cursed, it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, where it's what God would want.
She said, I thought it's
no,
what
I know, but anytime a human being is like, it's what God wanted, I'm like,
you don't know that.
I just want to vomit.
Yeah.
Because it all hinges around, and this is my issue with both believers and non-believers, with like atheists and all that, is it hinges around cosmic magic or science existing within the confines of human comprehension.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, I just think that like a being beyond the 3 dimensions would stick within our understanding of the world.
It would be more accurate to say it's what I would have wanted God to want.
Yeah. But she does repent and runs out.
Yeah.
And Alanka follows her and runs into Catherine and gave her what for?
Okay, look.
Yeah, she had a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
Catherine didn't deserve that.
But it's that thing that I love where it's like, it might have been true
but
or
it's
correct,
true.
But Catherine didn't deserve it. And also, I mean, we don't know Catherine.
Yeah.
We don't know what she's going through. And however, what level of misguided it may or may not be, it still is happening to Catherine.
Yeah.
I mean, she is still losing someone.
She's in the mix, but again, she didn't deserve that, but I do think she needed a wake-up call. Because I think she is operating from too hopeful of a place.
I think it's more ignorance. I think that she genuinely thinks that if she does these kind, polite gestures, that because she was trying to prepare a romantic picnic.
Yeah.
And a teenage girl has no reason to believe anything but that is the correct.
Sure.
And it's just sort of poor Kevin, it's because she's losing someone regardless.
Yeah.
now or later, he only has so much time.
Just like you only see Catherine every so often, just like have Ilanka and then have Kat. I mean, like, I don't know. It's not.
Here's some cake and oh, hey, look.
Here's some more.
Here's some other cake too.
I don't know. It's when you.
Did I ever tell you I finally figured out what that phrase means?
What?
People always talk about that phrase doesn't make any sense. Because
Uh-huh.
if I have cake, of course I'm going to eat it.
It's backwards.
No, it's because if you have cake and eat it, then you no longer have it.
Well, no, but I literally saw something and it is backwards. The actual phrase is you can't eat your cake and have it too. Yeah.
But it means the same. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I just love the moments where you're like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Regardless.
But yeah, I just am sort of like, when you're in, it's the same as the morality of being immortal kind of thing, where it's like, you're not, if you are going to live forever, you're not straight. You're not going to be straight. And so it's like, when you know that you're terminally ill, you're going to die, you should be sticking your bits everywhere. I feel like the morality of it is sort of like, it's so nebulous and dicey.
Natsuki and a mesh, finally.
At least someone's getting laid.
But no, it certainly, I mean, I don't think it was Ilanka's place to.
No, for sure not. Like, that's what I'm saying. That is not the scenario that should have occurred. But like, Catherine might need some truth telling.
And Kevin did get mad.
Yeah.
And he had a really good scene with Spencer. They haven't had a lot of material together, but they have made sure to make a point that they are like guy friends in a way that I really like. Because, and I especially love that Spencer was like, well, you know, what do you want to do, or what do you think you should do? And he's like, well, I can't break up with Catherine. And Spencer's like, well, the fact that
it's
that's
very
what
interesting that that's what you said.
that's what you heard. That was the answer to the question you think I asked. Yeah, Mark took Spencer. Was that prompted by anything?
No, he just was like, I know you've been feeling lonely, and so and because he's the only gay kid at Brightcliff, I think he's like, and so Mark basically took him to like his
meet
gay
other
friends,
gay people. You were very afraid that something was going to happen. Why is that bad between the two of them? Why is that bad to you?
Well, I mean, Spencer's still sick, and he's also like, maybe he's not a minor, but he's still like a kid, and Mark is 40. He's not 40.
Well, Zach Gilford is.
Is he really?
41, yeah.
Okay, sorry. He's like a baby freshman in Friday Night Lights, and I guess that did start almost 40 or 20 years ago. So, regardless,
you want to know who else is almost 40?
Us. We are almost 40. Regardless, he is in like he's a nurse, and so he's like helpful, and so there is kind of like a parasocial thing, but he's also in a position of authority over Spencer, and I was not vibing with that at all. But they didn't do anything, so it was, they have like a really good chemistry.
I don't feel strongly either way about it. You've made your point. The way I was looking at it is however limited anybody's options are, gay people's options are even more so.
Limited,
and so I was sort of like, if you were to have, which, I mean, he, as we found out in this episode, I mean, his diagnosis came from somewhere.
Yeah.
So one would imagine he has experienced romance, but it's just that sort of like, you put two pieces that fit together.
Sure.
There's a part of you that's like, well, maybe they fit. Let's try.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree.
Because the thing for me too is that because he is so much older, and because he's in this authority position, and because Mark has been presented as such a like very caring, benevolent, like good fixture in all these kids' lives, I was like, I don't want him to go into like a predatory sex angle and in the second to last episode. And so I was glad he didn't.
Spencer tells his story.
It's like
the Terminator.
It's the Terminator.
I couldn't even begin to.
Is the hand thing the degloving? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Mike Flanagan has several signatures. There's the Oculus mirror.
Yeah.
There's this shot, which I haven't noticed this shot yet.
No,
it might have already happened, and I just didn't. I was too plugged in.
Yeah.
But he really likes to damage people's hands, and because I was wondering if this was it, and not even from the sacrificial part, because that was so plot driven. Where I noticed it was, I can't remember if it was this episode or the previous one, but when we went back to, it was a Shasta and Alanka scene. Yeah, it was the last episode when Shasta was showing her tattoo. The wound was
because
on
you
her
already
hand.
see it? Oh, interesting. Okay.
You could see it like healing.
Yeah.
And that's an attention to detail that felt very...
Yeah, interesting.
So I was wondering if that was it. But no, when he like peeled his hand off, I think
Off
that
the
was
like
the
robot
nod.
arm, yeah.
Because there's a very famous degloving scene in Gerald's game. Just even the term. I feel similar to when you told me what flayed was.
Yeah.
And I was like, the fact that there's a name for it means it happened enough that they needed to call it something, and my brain broke.
Yep.
It was a very, I'm still very amazed by how they're able to earn these mini stories within stories, because it was a love for the ages, and
it was so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like trying to remove like emotions from people.
It was also kind of a mirror a little bit, like a Paramore to Amesh's story.
Sure.
A little bit, but it was nice. And then Alanka,
girl. So when she ran away from Catherine, she ran to Shasta, and the eyes got crazier, and she was like, "What if you let me in after dark, after the midnight club, and we could go down there and we could do the ritual the way it's supposed to be, and like blah blah blah."
Which she did say she was Julia.
Yeah, she
okay.
Admitted,
well, I guess she is, because Dr. Stanton also called her Julia.
Yeah, she admitted to being Julia. But she also, it's like she was saying all the right words to like get Alanka like indoctrinated, kind of, where she was like, I just don't know why she won't let us on the property, but like you're special. And it was like a lot of like, you are the special one, and if only you are there now, we can make it happen.
I don't know how to say what I want to say, but it was sort of like, say that there's 5 things that need to be addressed in a scenario like that.
Sure.
She was addressing 4.
Yeah.
And there was something about her refusal to hit that 5th thing that made you be like, you're withholding.
100%.
And I wish I could come up with a more elegant metaphor than that.
No, I know what you mean.
It was like, all 4 of these things are correct.
Yeah.
You got 4 of them. You're not hitting the 5th thing.
You're not hitting this thing. And it's like, you're deliberately talking around the 5th thing.
Because she was presenting it like it was for Alanka.
Yeah.
But yet there was just something not gelling. And it's my biggest fear in the world, is that because I'm susceptible to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Beauty and pressure. And if you combine the two, it's like...
If only you give him Tilda Swinton and some Turkish delight. He'll be yours for the taking.
I even joked about that's one of the reasons why Midsummer was so terrifying to me, is because I would just do what they told me to do.
You're like, this looks great.
Well, no, not even that. I would know, but I would sort of be like, okay.
Okay, I guess.
Because I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I just would be too afraid. Because if you come at me with enough authority, I'll just sort of comply. And so yeah, and even just like it was the bring me. Oh, I don't know. And then she showed up in
full regalia with 3 other
handmaidens.
Women. Yeah, and it was like a whole thing. And then she also, because she presented it as if it was going to be to heal Alanka, but then she was in the center of
that.
Thing.
I mean, I knew, I well knew by that point, but that was, if ever there were a final straw, it was when she was like, "No, not you."
Yeah,
like it went to that. Like,
there's not going to be a swimming pool, you stupid slut.
That was exactly.
So I like. And then it was like she was pouring fucking concoctions into tiny little cups and stuff. And it's just, she was like, Alanka, drink it now. And then that was when Dr. Stanton came down. Also, it felt very disrespectful. She kept calling her Georgina. And I was like, she's a doctor.
Well, and because to my understanding, that's the only place we've gotten that
her
information.
First name,
I mean, it was on the IMDb.
Sure. Yeah.
But I was just like,
beg your pardon.
And I'm a little, if I was ever going to call shenanigans on anything, I'm a little bit like, where did Dr. Stanton come from? Because she just sort of materializes out of the darkness, where she's like, that's quite enough, Julia. And I was sort of like,
she had like an andiron too, like a little fire poker. Yeah, I don't know. It's like maybe shenanigans.
It's plausible enough that she.
But I think she knows that Alanka's been sneaking out, and so I think if she knows that like stuff is like sort of snowballing, I think she might have been like prepared. Like she might have been like, something's coming to a head. I'm gonna go down there and like maybe wait. Cause again, like we said, she has to be hearing the rattling of the elevator up and down. And especially if Kevin is sleepwalking and she can like, she even said your voices carry, like we can all hear you at certain times.
And she has been long awaiting the arrival of Mother Suspiriorum.
Yeah. So, and then essentially Ilanka didn't drink, and then, but the other handmaidens died, obviously, they were like coughing up whatever they drank, and then she was backing away from Julia / Shasta, and she like hit her head and kind of fell, so I'm not 100%.
Was that the last
That
shot?
was the last shot, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got one more.
I don't even know.
I know.
It's gonna be like...
crazy. I don't know how this is gonna wrap up.
Let's go watch. Let's watch together and find out, shall
yes!
we?
Let's do it.